3.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Brew, live on Brew Sports. It is a Monday edition of the program, a full weekend of sports action. For those of you that are Cleveland Cavalier fans, you guys are probably still coming over from that huge sweep that you got to do against the Toronto Raptors. If you're fans of pretty much any other sport, who knows exactly how your weekend went. The teams that I support, they lost all weekend, so, I mean, what are you going to do? It's not NFL season yet, so I'll wait for the Packers to come and finally save me from my other franchises. But the one person that she's a little under the weather this morning because she's been partying, not necessarily partying, but we don't know. We'll have to clarify that for sure. But she's just been so excited about everything taking place with her Nashville Predators. They won. They beat the St. Louis Blues 3-1 over the weekend. They've advanced to the Western Conference Finals for the first time ever in franchise history. It is Jaymee Evers this morning. Good morning, Jaymee. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Good. I noticed in your voice you sound a little hoarse.
I don't know where it came from.
You don't know where it came from. And I will be first and foremost. I did not tell Jaymee she had to come in.
You threatened me.
I did not threaten her. There's no such thing. She volunteered to come in and show that, number one, she is dedicated not only to the Morning Brew, but she's a dedicated Predators fan because she has almost no voice left. But she was like, I need to be here. I need to show the world how much I support my team and how much she had to cheer after Roman Josi scored a goal as well, too. So, with that being said, how are you, Jaymee?
I am great.
That's good. It's wonderful to see you. Has it set in yet for you?
Yeah, well, when I was watching the game yesterday, I was at my mom's house, so it wasn't a very exciting environment because no one in my family really cares about hockey.
Ah, okay.
But I missed the second period, and that's when they tied it up.
I was going to say, that's when it was all getting after it, yeah.
So turning it back on and finally getting them up to go 2-1 was pretty exciting, and then having them actually win.
Put it away.
Yeah. I'm excited for them.
It is. It's an exciting time. I mean, it's the first time in franchise history. One of our hockey correspondents, Justin Bradford, works down in Nashville, sang with Robbie Stanley as well, too. So to see their communication on social media yesterday in the evening times was absolutely incredible. Just the way that they were kind of reiterating everything and just kind of helping capture everything. It's so unique, honestly. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's exciting to see they're not a new team. We all know they've been around for 19 years.
Right.
But so it's exciting to see them actually advance through and play with a young team. So.
It is. It absolutely is. Well, we'll dive into that in the hockey playoffs a little bit more here in just a minute. We do want to remind all of you, of course, we are broadcasting live not only here on Facebook, but also on YouTube Live. You can go subscribe to our channel, Brew Sports. Just type it in the YouTube search bar and check it out there. We're also broadcasting live on Spreaker.com and also then on iTunes as well if you want to go and check us out and the audio side of things there. Jeff, Adam, Josh, good morning to all of you wonderful people. It's great to see you all this morning. We're asking 2 questions of the day. Of course, one of them is tied into how Jaymee is feeling right now. We are asking for your best sore throat remedy. Everybody seems to have that one weird thing like, if you mix honey with ginger, with spice, with this, with that, and pour it in a cup and drink it, but before it reaches a certain level, then I'm like, people do the weirdest things when it comes to having sore throats. I know there's like specific teas and cough drops, the normal things, but I'm curious to know what certain people have for their sore throat remedies, not only for you, but I mean, I work in broadcasting. I woke up Sunday morning after a busy weekend of broadcasting, and I had almost no voice left either. So sometimes you need a little extra support. So looking for sore throat remedies this morning. Also, asking the question after Cleveland completed the second consecutive sweep in the playoffs, if we think LeBron should just rest till the finals. Just take the next series off. It's not even worth it. Just rest until you go meet Golden State in the finals because it really doesn't make a big difference because Cleveland is just better than everybody. That's just the honest truth. So go ahead and give us your thoughts in the comments section below. Adam apparently says that cocaine is very good for sore throats, but you said you didn't hear that from him. So whoever that may have come from, I don't know. Some guy named Adam. I have no idea. But either way, we'll log that away as a possible sore throat remedy. Good morning to Adam as well, too, watching in. So it is our What's Brewing segment where we talk about some of the things brewing around in the sports world. A lot of great things to get to this morning. First and foremost, people like to just do all kinds of funny things on social media, especially when it comes to humiliating people like Jay Cutler. That's the best part about it. People are still looking to get after Jay Cutler after he officially retired from the NFL. And former Green Bay Packers tight end Tom Crabtree actually took to Twitter over the weekend to just to give Jay a congratulations, like, hey, it's been a great career, like you did nothing but the best, and I wish you everything going forward in your broadcasting career. But if you look at his tweet, Jaymee, it's rather strange. Tom went to college. He went to high school. I mean, everybody knows general rules of how to capitalize and when not to capitalize. But when you go through and look at his tweet, every time there's an INT anywhere, he capitalizes it to symbolize Jay Cutler's 109 career interceptions that he threw. So Crabtree's known for throwing a little bit of shade in general on Twitter, and is normally a character, and as some would call, a good follow on social media as well, too. But it kind of makes me laugh a little bit seeing something like that. What did you think of that funny thing from Tom?
It took me a minute to understand what he was really talking about, and then obviously it clicked. I think it's funny that he thinks he's funny, too. Like, his next tweet says, "This is my Mona Lisa." Like, that's funny. He thinks he's funny. I like when people think they're funny. They actually are. And then, again, of course, obviously, Bears fans were upset. So he tweets again, when you drop a lit tweet and you can log off for the day. So
yeah, I like that one. It's just like, I'm out. Like,
right.
Is that
because it's social media? And
does it make it as funny? Like, if you think you're funny, like, because sometimes, like, because when I think I'm funny, you're usually like, you're an idiot. Like, to stop.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you were actually funny, it would be funny.
Touche, I walked into that one. That's completely fine. I completely understand that one. But, yeah, Crabtree and many others, of course, voicing their opinions about Jay Cutler. It is kind of funny to see how so many different people just continue to give him hell, even though he's announced that he's going to go work for Fox, and he's not going to be getting back into the football game for probably a long time, if ever again, on the playing side of it. But funny that he still is receiving some shade from different people. So funny thing to move on. Josh also says that's a brilliant move by Crabtree. It is. It's absolutely hilarious. Jaymee, I know that you don't like Conor McGregor.
I do not.
I know that for a fact, but I know you like cute babies.
I do.
So if those that haven't heard, Conor McGregor and his fiance, they're not married yet. They had their baby over the weekend. Just the cutest little thing in the world if you haven't seen it. D and Junior, so I'm assuming Conor McGregor Jr. would be my guess, would be the name. I always give massive credit to the women that take the just had the baby pictures and they look completely fine. Like, if anything, she looks maybe a smidge tired, but otherwise she looks phenomenal. Cutest little baby in the world, a big baby too, from what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
I mean,
that baby does look big.
That baby had to have been probably 9 pounds, 10 pounds would be my guess, because my son is in the teens poundage wise currently at 6 months old. And he looks just a little bit bigger than Junior there. But
Conor McGregor's tiny and she's tiny. So, I mean, you'd think they'd have a tinier baby.
You'd think so.
It looks pretty big.
I have no idea. But McGregor tweeting out says, "Thank you all for the kind words. I am one proud and blessed daddy." So as much as a douche as he can be at times, he is also he's an entertainer is what he is. And I know we've had this debate and conversation before. He likes to fire the people up, especially you, Jaymee. And there's nothing wrong with that, but he also knows when to bring it back and be like, "Listen,
family guy.
I'm a father now. I gotta keep it in check. I gotta set a good example for my son." I mean, I was beside myself excited when I had my son as well too. So it does something to you that you can't really explain until you're actually in the moment. So good for Conor though. Very excited for him, to say the least. So. What else did you have this morning with what's brewing in the sports world, or just in the world in general right now?
A little bit more in the sports world. The Royals had
oh my Lord,
a swarm of bees take over their upper deck.
It seems to be a reoccurring thing for the Royals.
Well, yeah, and then it happened at
spring training.
Yeah, yep.
And I think the best part about it is that Cleveland tweeted this out saying, "They're eating our flesh off. Save yourselves!" It's bad. If I saw that many bees at, a picnic or the beach, I'd probably run screaming, honestly.
Yeah, I don't even know how you get all of those bees to go away.
Was it gas? Tear gas? Not tear gas. Canisters of some sort of gas? Because I know they were, trying to, fan them off, too, and,
looks like they
bat them away.
Bee, honey traps.
Oh, sure. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I mean, it's very stereotypical, but how else do you get rid of bees? You gotta give them something that they're gonna want to have. So.
A member of the Royals ground crew is a professional beekeeper. Oh, so he arrived at the upper deck to remove the bees humanely, and he didn't even need a beekeeper suit. He's intense. Yeah. As I watched the video last night, he's just out there with no You know, usually they have, like, a thing.
I saw some videos of him as well too, just kind of running around. I'm just like, are you what?
Yeah, how do they know not to sting you?
Right. And then even like there was a couple of pictures of like camera guys running around too, just trying to get the shot basically. And I'm like, you don't even have like any protective suits on. You're just trying to get a good picture or whatever. I'm like, oh my Lord.
Right.
Like, good luck to that one. Adam says, save the bees. Yes, save the bees. And I'm surprised like Peter or somebody else hasn't come out and been like, how dare you? Like those bees, like they're animals too. Like, okay. Like,
Well, I think that's because during spring training they just exterminated them. But from
Right.
what I've heard, from what I've read, bees are like, obviously not being extinct, but their numbers are lower. So
they are.
making sure these bees were moved humanely was a big concern.
True. And then the guy that you said was the full-time beekeeper there, professional beekeeper. How do you become a professional beekeeper? I don't know. He had a quote after the game, said to just arbitrarily kill a bunch of bees makes no sense to me. It's not like that's I'm not like that with a lot of stuff, right? But I'm a conservationist. I love conservation. I love the aspect of wildlife, fish. I love that stuff. But there's things that you have to do. So just kind of explaining why there was the extermination during that spring training game as well too. So it's always funny to see stuff like that take place. But you know, what can you say? I guess in that regards. I mean, they're animals. They do what they want to do. You can't say like, no, bees.
Right.
At least buy a ticket if you're going to come in. We're going to count you for the price of admission, or at least count you towards the attendance numbers. I don't know. One other thing to finish up the what's brewing this morning is something that's a little eerie that we've talked about before. Aaron Hernandez, more stuff coming out about his suicide notes to his loved ones, suicide notes to his significant other, his fiance as well too. There was the official note was released over the weekend. On the one part that people are really focusing in on is the fact that he says you're rich at the end, and people have had the fact that he also signed at Savage Garden at the end is a little strange. I don't fully understand.
I don't think he wrote this. That is a woman's handwriting.
I was going to say, this is beautiful handwriting if this is actually Aaron Hernandez's handwriting.
I don't think he wrote that.
Like, I really, yeah. Now that you're saying that, I have a harder time believing that was actually him that potentially wrote that. But there's been so many weird, questionable things about Aaron Hernandez's death and trial and everything that I'm having a hard time believing it as well too.
Right. Once I saw that to read it, I was like, no way.
Too nice at handwriting. Like, I know guys that have like good handwriting or like professional handwriting, but there's a difference between good handwriting and feminine handwriting for a guy. There's nothing wrong with having feminine handwriting. Like, I've seen your handwriting and my wife's and others, and you know, it's very pretty the way you write. But like, for a guy, if I were to just go out and write like the same way you write, you'd be like, it's a little strange. Like,
right.
Why are you writing so froofy and fluffy? You know.
I don't think that he wrote that.
I don't think so either. The plot thickens, Jaymee. They're gonna make a movie about this, or they're gonna do some sort of like a TV series or something. It's almost as weird as the whole 13 Reasons Why thing or whatever too. That was. My wife and I watched. That was just a weird series.
Was it?
Did you see that?
No.
I didn't think so.
They're making it 2, I heard.
Well, I mean, they did leave a lot of things unanswered, or at least a lot of doors open at the end of it. But it's a book, so I guess I don't know. It's all about the money. So keep it coming. Netflix just wants that money. Anyway, that is the What's Brewing part of the Morning Brew this morning. As a reminder, of course, to continue to give us those comments in the section below. We are asking the 2 questions today. What is your best sore throat remedy, and should LeBron rest till the finals? I feel like some people might be a little divided on that last one. But, of course, if you're the team that, you know, the Cleveland Cavaliers have to play next round, maybe you would like LeBron to rest, and maybe it might actually give you a chance. But I want to talk about the best sore throat remedies here briefly, because I've had the tea before, the throat coat tea. I don't know if you've ever embarked on it or not. Works amazing. I'm completely about it. I also just put like 1.5 pounds of honey in any cup of tea I have anyway, just to help coat my throat. And I don't actually put that much in, but you get what I'm saying. It helps for some reason. Cough drops just don't do it for me. I don't know why.
I always end up biting cough drops, so they don't work.
Right. Like I'll like suck on it for maybe like 5 minutes, and then I ended up just like
chomping on it.
Chomping on it. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. Not gonna work. It is. It's one of those things where you're just like, well, what are you gonna do? I guess. I mean,
is it just black tea with honey, or?
No, I do like a citrus tea. Usually is when I have it. I mean, I like. Obviously, it's not I don't like, you know, the dark beers, so I have more of the fruity beers or the ciders. So like I like a citrus tea. I don't like a black tea. I want to be able to drink it. I don't want to be able to like as I'm trying to figure it out.
I don't know anything about tea, so.
Yes. Well, throat coat tea is what I recommend. Adam also on Facebook says throat coat tea is what he was going to say. So there you go. A round of folk rallying for Throat Coat Tea this morning. Also, a good morning to Keith as well, too, who's tuning in. We certainly have a lot of other fun things to get to this morning. So aside from the cough drops and that fun business, I mean, you get the Tylenol, the throat, the sore throat, any of that business. But do you have any other secret remedies that you try to use when you feel like your sore throat's coming on?
I don't think so. I don't know if I have that for,
No? Because some people do, or like does mom or grandma. Because some people I'm like, oh, I remember Grandma Joni's recipe for this kind of thing, and then you get after it. It's like, oh.
Right. If we were sick, my grandma would make us these certain little biscuit things, but other than that, I don't know what they were, but they were not good for you. There's butter and sugar on them.
What's the best then?
But I would just pretend to be sick so I could hang out with her anyways.
Help me, Grammy. Help me. That's funny. All right. We've been delaying talking about it, but we know we should. Nashville wins. I want to look at this a little bit more. We don't know yet who they're going to play.
Right.
But we have an idea, at least. Who do you think they're going to end up meeting in the next round?
I have a feeling it's going to be the Oilers, but I would like for it to be the Ducks.
Right. That is the big thing. And that prompts me to ask the question. And I tweeted this out yesterday, too. I said, what the hell is going on in Edmonton? But I wanted to say more so, in part of my French, what the duck is going on in Edmonton? Because how in the hell do you lose 7-1 in a playoff game?
They scored, I think, 4 goals in the first period.
Yeah.
And then another one 3 minutes into the second.
Right, because I
turned it off.
I was on Twitter yesterday, and I see the picture, the cool pictures of when the hat trick happens and everybody throws their hat onto the ice. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Someone scored a hat trick. And then I looked at the score. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I was like 7-1. I'm like, did Anaheim just forget to come on the ice for 2 periods?
Yeah, I couldn't believe the score.
And it wasn't even really Connor McDavid doing much either.
No.
That's the scary part. I feel like if I'm Anaheim or I'm anybody else, if they can put 7 goals in on a very talented Anaheim squad without Connor McDavid pulling all the strings.
Right. It seemed like a lot of their goals, they were just tapped in. There was no 2 of them went under his legs, which should never that should never happen.
It's not acceptable as a goalkeeper.
Right. So there's 2. The 2 that I saw is like I said, I ended up turning it off after the 5th. I was like, it's stupid. It was embarrassing. And I never turn anything off early or leave any sporting event early because that pisses me off. I hate when fans do that.
Yeah.
I think you're a bad fan.
I was at a game. I mean, I was calling a Milwaukee Torrance soccer game over the weekend, and they were losing 3-0 going into the 85th minute, and fans already started to head for the gates. I'm like, you have 5 more, maybe 10 more minutes worth of this game. Milwaukee ended up scoring. It was a little bit more exciting at the end, but a bunch of fans had already left, so they missed it.
Yeah, that stuff drives me insane.
It's like, why would you? I have to be careful how I phrase this because I will leave early at baseball games just because after the 5th or 6th inning, if it's not close or if I have somewhere else to be like, look, I was here for an hour and a half or 2 hours. This has been fun, but I want to get on with the rest of my day.
Right.
Or maybe I'll sometimes leave a bigger sporting event if I want to make sure I don't get caught in traffic. Some of that stuff. If it's not a close game, I will stay till the bitter end if it's a very close game, but if it's very clear that one team is going to win, I will sometimes leave early just so I can beat the traffic.
Yeah.
And does that make me a bad fan?
Yes.
Or does that make me okay? Fair enough. Fair enough. I guess
you can you're at a game with somebody, right? So you can just linger in the concourse for a little bit until it's time to go. You know what I mean? You can just wait and hang out with your friends for another 10-15 minutes, and then traffic's gonna lighten up, and then you can leave.
Right.
I just don't like when people leave early.
Are you ever out in the concourse at Admirals games, yelling at people get back in the stadium?
No.
You're we have 10 minutes of the 3rd period left.
No.
You dare leave.
Especially because so much can happen in such a short amount of time.
I won't leave early from a sport that I care about. Let me clarify about that. Yeah. That's why I have no problem leaving early from a baseball game or leaving early from an Admirals game at times because I enjoy going to the event, but I'm not going to lose sleep if I miss the game-winning goal of the walk-off home run. I'll be like, oh, that's cool. Glad they did that, but I'm not going to be like, I missed it. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
If I left early from a soccer game, I left early from a Packers game and missed the last second play to win it all, I would be very upset for at least a couple hours. Be like, how could I have left? I'm an idiot. I'll stay to the end next time. That in that regards. But some of those other sports, meh.
When we were at the game 1, round 1, and Chicago fans were leaving early, I'm like, you just paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Seriously, especially come playoffs when people leave early.
You're dumb.
I'm like, if you are in a financial situation that you can just toss a couple $100 away and then not even go to the full event,
right.
I mean, good for you, I guess. You're doing something right with your life, but that seems a bit foolish to me, especially come playoff time when people file out a period or 2 early or a couple of innings early. I'm like, What are you doing? Why?
Yeah.
Why are you leaving?
Right. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right. It's the playoffs. Anything can happen. That's for sure. Are you fully invested in what Nashville's doing? Do you fully believe they actually have a chance, especially after not only them beating St. Louis, but also the fact that you see what Edmonton did to Anaheim?
Yeah. I think this next round's going to be difficult. It's going to be close. I think we're going to lose more than just one. I mean, they've only lost one game in the playoffs thus far, so
Right.
I think they're going to have a little bit more run for their money coming up here round 3. I think that the want for them, since they've never, made it this far before, is going to be like, what am I trying to say? Like, they're going to want this more than Edmonton or the Ducks because they've never made it here before.
Right.
Like, they're the first team. So I think their drive will hopefully take over because they're playing skillfully. Like, they're playing well.
Yeah. I watched the highlights. I mean, they're playing effective, good-looking hockey.
Right. So it'll just come down to who wants it more.
Right. I completely agree with you on that one. Josh asking, hey, Baxter, are you going to do a wrap-up of the Torrent game on 2 Up Front later this week? More than likely, yeah. We'll probably give our thoughts and insights a little bit more about it, Josh. So come back Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central Time here on Brew Sports if you want to check out 2 Up Front with myself and Simon Provan. We work as the broadcasters for that. So we'll definitely do our part to give you some insight and information into that one. So moving away from Smashville, moving away from the playoffs for hockey, I just want to touch really briefly on Cleveland sweeping Toronto. Toronto, they brought it close yesterday, but LeBron still being LeBron, they win 109-102 in Game 4 in Toronto. I feel like Toronto needs to, number one, be a little embarrassed, and I thought that was funny that DeMar DeRozan came out after the game, too. He's like, and said that, well, if we had LeBron on our team, we probably would have swept the series too. It's not a fair quote to say. If LeBron James was on Brooklyn or if LeBron James was on LA, like, well, yeah, of course, you have LeBron James. Like, you have, like, the ultimate cheat code on your team. Of course you're going to win. I think that that's not fair to say from a team to say, well, if we had LeBron, of course we would have won. Well, then just be better. Work up to what LeBron is doing. Use it as a team collectively. Don't just be banking on one player. That's just not how Toronto works.
That's why I don't think that they should sit LeBron until...
You don't think so?
No, that's not fair.
But, I mean, if you're Cleveland,
Like, why doesn't he have to work as hard as everybody else?
Right. Well, that's why I was asking the question, because I feel like if you are Cleveland, I mean, you've literally you haven't really encountered much resistance the first 8 games. You're undefeated in the playoffs, which normally doesn't happen. You normally at least drop a game or two. The next series is probably going to be against Boston or Washington. Neither team is probably going to really push you. You might drop one game if you're Cleveland, maybe. But if you're LeBron and the Cavs, why not at least sit them all the way to the finals and be like, listen, we don't need you. You're good. We're doing completely fine. We need you healthy and fresh when we have to go against the Warriors, likely, with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, and the list goes on of players to worry about, instead of Washington, who has John Wall. Ooh, scary John Wall. Or on the other side, if you're Boston, who has Isaiah Thomas, who's, this tall, basically, like, you can have a little bit more rest for your star player, especially if you want Cleveland to get another championship. Yeah,
but I think that I understand why you would. I just don't think it's fair.
Sure.
And I know not everything is fair, but
life's not fair, Jaymee.
Right.
To quote Scar from Lion King, life's not fair. Anyway. But no, that's a very valid point, though. I mean, obviously that's not going to happen, but it's a good debate and it's a good question to ask, I feel like, so that way people can kind of sort through it a little bit more to think, okay, well, what makes the most sense? Is LeBron sitting more? Do we sit LeBron even for a game or two in that series? That way, instead of sitting him the entire time, I think it would be very interesting. Keith says the Cavs would lose to Boston or Washington without LeBron. That's interesting. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, LeBron obviously adds an entire different level to the team. Of course, that's why he's the best in the league, and there's no doubting that. But you have to think that his supporting cast around him, though, is still incredibly talented. It's not like Oklahoma City where you take Russell Westbrook off the court and the Thunder just fall apart.
Yeah, but when they rested him at the end of the season, weren't they not doing that well?
Yes, and that's the thing. They were having issues at the end of the season as a team collectively, but LeBron and the team as a whole wasn't playing that great going into the playoffs. But now you've got all this steam and all this fire, and if you're Cleveland, you're like, well, maybe we can afford to rest LeBron for a game, but it's the playoffs. I'm sure there'd be fines tossed out for resting your star player.
Do you think resting somebody, like, when you don't play one night, like, it's really, Like, you're going to play that much better the next game?
It depends, I guess. It depends on if it's going to be back-to-back games. I mean, if you're going to be home for both games and you can take a rest for one of them, I think if it's a home game, you'd almost rather play, obviously, because in front of the home fans, you got to give them a good show. But if you're on the road, in theory, then you probably don't want to take a rest. But I guess it just depends. I don't know. Like I said, it's just one of those weird questions that you're just like, possibly. I don't know. I don't know how much stock or how much you want to put into it, honestly, from that perspective. But just a thing to think about, that's for sure. So, moving away from basketball and all the craziness that takes place, MTV had their awards last night, and they did something very unique that has never been done before. They handed out non-gender awards, and it's kind of a strange thing because it's never been done before in the awards circuits. They handed out Best Actor, or they didn't hand out Best Actress, Best Male, Female, any of that fun business. They handed out for Best Actor. And some people were a little about it. A lot of people were like, this is great, breaking gender barriers. It's all about the individual performance. It's not about having to cut, male, having to put male or female. Emma Watson took home the Best Actor in a Movie for her role in Beauty and the Beast last night, so rightfully so. She did a phenomenal job in that. But I'm curious to get your thoughts about this, Jaymee, because we live in a society nowadays that is so hell-bent on being politically correct and is so hell-bent on you can pick what you want to identify as. Like the fact that people were even mostly joking, but making jokes even about me now, like as being a father, be like, oh, like, how's your son? Or people will be like, oh, like, don't classify him as your son, let him pick. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, you need to, number one, shut your mouth. And I'm like, he's a boy, obviously. I'm like, if he decides to choose later in life, that's great, but I'm not going to go 18 years or until he's smart enough to figure out what he is. I'm like, he's going to be a boy until that point. But that's a whole nother conversation. But how do you applaud MTV? Do you say, why are you doing this and making a bigger deal than it needs to be? How do you react to something like this?
I think it's great for the people that care. Does that make sense? Like,
yes.
Like, this does not affect me. I don't fall into any of these categories. Like, I don't find... I'm not offended by it by any means. I'm not like, good for MTV, good for the people that care about, this and people whose lives it affects. So it's good.
But it's just one of those things.
But I don't know if it's something that I think needed to be that big of a deal. But again, I don't understand it. So
you never have had to fight the fight that these the transgenders or the folks that have had issues like this in the past to deal with. So it's a little different for folks like you and me who haven't had to worry about that. It's almost, as they say, water off the back or whatever kind of a thing. But for those that have had to fight or that are still trying to make this equality.
It's a good little victory for them.
It is. I think. It really is. So, I mean, it was nice to see something like this. Will we see something like this happen at the Oscars? I don't know. I think this is maybe why they trialed it at the MTV Awards, is because nothing against the awards, but it's not like massive.
Yeah, I think it's just a new category that they're doing.
It is. Yeah, so Best Actor and Best Actor in a Movie and Best Actor in a Show.
Yeah, so it's just a gender neutral category. So if they were to do that for the whole thing, if everything from now on was gender neutral, I think that would be an issue.
Those are the big ones, obviously. Like, that's what you want.
Right, but I'm saying if they just went and did a completely gender neutral awards, that would probably not go over so well with people. I think it's okay to have best guy and best girl. Like, I don't understand why that wouldn't be okay. And then again, best actor all together. Like, that's okay to.
I agree.
To have 3 different ones. It doesn't all need to be the same.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something that I think people are going to be a little divided on for a while, but I'm curious to see how this plays out moving forward. If they try it at other more prestigious award shows moving forward. I'm curious to see that. One of the other cool things that I saw is apparently Nicki Minaj is paying students loans and tuition, who asked her on Twitter. Kind of a strange thing, but at the same time also the way that 2017 works, I feel like, where you just ask for something on Twitter, whether it be a prom date or to, in general, go on a date, or apparently to get your student loans paid off, and it can be granted. I was a little surprised by this, but from what I've been hearing and from several sources, TMZ and others, Nicki Minaj is actually paid up on some of her things. So kind of a weird thing, but I feel like that's one of those things where if I were looking at this on Twitter, and I mean, I obviously still have student loans. You still obviously have student loans to pay off, and I would see Nicki Minaj tweet this out. My first thought would be like, okay, like
Who hacked her account?
yeah, who hacked your account? Like, why would I do this? And second of all, it's like, why would she choose me? You know, kind of a thing. Like, who's to say she's going to choose Baxter in Milwaukee instead of Karen in Sheboygan or somebody else or Steve in Philly, kind of a thing. Like, okay, like it's a little strange, but do you applaud this move? Like, is it kind of cool? I feel like
Absolutely. I think you don't really hear about people in the music industry doing charitable work often, so this is cool, and it brings her to like her fans level, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're tweeting with her, like, and they're now probably feel good that, you know what I mean? Like, instead of just going to an event where Jordy Nelson is in the background, right?
Right.
Like, great, thanks for being here, Jordy Nelson. Like, Nicki Minaj personally picked over a dozen people to do this for, and it's saying that she will do it again in the future. So it's awesome. I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm all about it. I think it was a good move. It's a class move from her. She's one of those people that kind of has a divided stereotype about her, I feel like, of, you know, her being kind of this female rapper that, you know, just loves the sex, drugs, and alcohol and all that fun business. But at the flip side, she can show that she is a nice person. And maybe this is just a one and done, or maybe she was under some heavy pressure from a publicist to saying, like, hey, you should do something to kind of spruce up your public image a little bit more. Like, maybe you should, you know, pay somebody's loans or whatever. And I know somebody prompted her on Twitter saying, oh, yeah, you should do this. But I'm assuming somebody probably jumped on that with being like, yes, do this right now. And that way it'll kind of help send a good image about you overall. So kind of a weird thing.
She made people send her their report cards, though, so she could see that they were actually being, like, successful.
Right.
School.
The thing that I would have been skeptical about, though, is the fact that when she was actually ready to go, she was asking people to DM them their bank account information. That would be
I would have been sketched out.
That would have been my first thing. It'd been like, can we do this a different way? Can you PayPal me? Can you do something else? I'm not going to just DM you my routing number and my account number.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. Not about that life. I also was going to ask you about this whole craze with the red swimsuit. I don't know anything that's going on with this. I don't know if you do or not, but
a little bit.
I've seen Instagrams and tweets and Facebooks all about this red swimsuit tossing around, and I figured you would potentially know about it, so I want to know what the heck the deal is.
Yeah, so I think it was if you retweeted that photo, they either gave you credit to get a free swimming suit, like that swimming suit, or they were picking winners to win them. So girls were just taking to Twitter or to Instagram that photo. That's literally it.
So okay, and is it a swimsuit from Baywatch, or what is it from? Like,
it's
it
just
looks
from
like
a website, like
Mr.
just some
Red
swimming
swimsuit.
suit. Yeah, I've never heard of the company before. Maybe that's because I'm terrible at being a girl, but I think it's dumb.
Are you a one-piece or a two-piece kind of girl?
I would rather just not wear a swimming suit. But if I would, I mean, I have.
So you're a nudist, is what you're telling
Yeah.
us on the beach.
A bikini I have.
Okay.
So two-piece.
Don't go to the beach very often? Don't go swimming very often?
Well, I work a lot, so I don't have time. One.
Well, I know that, but
Two.
like dead summer, you're not heading up Bradley Beach or whatever? Some drinks in your hand?
I can't remember the last time I went to the beach, actually. Well, I did last year, but it was cold, and we went jet skiing. So I was
And you got a vest and sweatsuit and all that fun business.
Yeah, I like the beach.
Yeah.
I like taking the dogs to the beach.
I'm going to be at the beach a couple of days from now.
I know, I'm jealous. It'll be
So
nice.
excited. I'm mostly going to sit poolside, though. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Checking in on the comments, Jeff said, throat coat for sure, along with lots of water. He says helps cure the sore throats.
What is throat coat?
Throat coat is just a tea. It's like it's certain things like in a tea bag, and it somehow, like when it's in the water and the stuff that goes, I don't know.
Oh, I thought it was a medicine. Okay.
I can't explain the science, but no, it's a throat coat is the brand of tea that you buy.
Okay,
You can buy it at local grocery stores or Walmart's, Targets, all that fun business, and you just pop it in the water, heat it up a normal bit, and then I usually add a little honey regardless because I love honey with my tea no matter what flavor it is or anyhow sugar it is, and it does extra business for your throat.
Okay.
So that's what I do.
Now
That's
I know
what
that
found.
it's tea. I thought it was like a medicine that you just drink.
No, and that's what I thought it was too. I mean, I had a friend in college tell me about throat coat because we were singing and I was losing my voice a lot from being in choir and everything, and I was like, what is this throat coat business? And they finally got it for me, and I tried it, and it actually works. And sometimes I'll just drink it even if I'm not feeling sick, just to help, like, as a preventative. Like, if I know I've got a busy week or broadcasting or a bunch of games back to back, I'll drink it earlier to help prevent the possible outcomes. So, and it works out usually. So Always a lot of fun about that one. So if you are just tuning in, we do want to remind you to help us answer our 2 questions of the day. The best sore throat remedy that you have, and also if you think LeBron James should just rest until the finals based off of how well Cleveland has played over the first 8 games of the NBA playoffs. Looking through some of the other stuff that we've got rolling along, the Kentucky Derby took place over the weekend as well. Always Dreaming came in first place, upsetting Irish War Cry and a couple of others as well too. Jaymee, I know that you obviously had a busy weekend. Did you get a chance to catch any of the Derby at all, or were you following it? Did you make any fun bets with friends at all?
I did not make any fun bets with anybody, but I did watch it because it was on the TVs at work. So.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was able to track it on social media. I was gone on Saturday. Didn't get a chance to. I was broadcasting in the middle of it, so I didn't get a chance to catch it. But I feel like I was going to get your opinion about this. I feel like the Kentucky Derby is one of those events that people go to and actually have no clue
for sure.
what's going on.
And they don't actually care.
No.
They
go for
pretend to care because everybody else pretends to
Right.
care.
They're like, I want to spend hundreds of dollars on an outfit I'm going to wear literally once in my entire life. I'm going to go drink mint junips or whatever the hell they're called. Is that what they called?
Julep.
Julep, whatever. It sounds like a tulip and a flower. I don't know. Have you ever had a mint julep?
I think I've tried it once.
I was going to ask you as a bartender. This is the first person I thought of. I was like, I wonder if Jamie's ever made a mint julep.
People were like mad that we didn't have them at the bar, and I was like, this is an Irish pub. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
We're not getting mint in just so 3 of you can drink mint juleps.
Seriously. That's the funny part, too, when people are giving you the hell for it. Be like, we want a mint julep. Be like, you just shut up. Like, go away. And then this event is so funny, though, because it's always the millennials that make it a bigger deal than it needs to be. Be like, oh, I'm at the Derby drinking mint julep. Like, you don't have a damn clue. Like, you put $1 down on a horse, and if you hit it, you're going to win, like, $25,000, which is not going to happen. Like, that's the part that kills me. I love more the pomp and circumstance of, like, Tom Brady's there, and Rodgers is there, like Katie Couric, and all these other fun people are all there. That's more exciting to me than actually the pomp and circumstance of the actual race. And there's more than one race that actually happens that day, too, which I think people forget about. Like, oh, it's the Kentucky Derby. I'm like, yeah, there's like 7 races that happen on that day.
I would go just because it's a big drinking shit show. So.
Wow. As long as you're consistent.
Not because I would be like, I'm at the Derby. I'd be like, I'm getting.
Did you get a big crazy hat?
I would.
You gotta.
I would. I'd be like, I'm getting hammered in this thing.
Hammer hat.
Go.
Exactly. Yeah. Good morning to Trevor tuning in on Facebook. He also says, how about them Predators, Jaymee? Getting stoked. Trevor, if you're joining us late, Jaymee doesn't have a lot of voice left because she was cheering so crazily over the weekend for her Predators as they captured the victory. So that's why he...
I can't believe I'm so excited. I'm going to be in Nashville in 2 weekends, too, so if they're going to play at home, I'm probably not even going to be able to go to a game because I have graduation stuff for my best friend to do. But she was...
The hell with your best friend.
She told me, she was like, I wouldn't be mad if you, like, missed my dinner to go to a Preds game. I'm like, yes, you would.
Okay, bye.
Yes, you would. Don't give me that.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
As Predators bystander. I'm not a fan. I can't be a fan at this point because you'll be like, bandwagon. Like, I'm not a hockey fan. I have to wait till next season to finally become a fan, I feel like, of a team. Yeah. Because at this point in the game, I'm just appreciating what they're doing.
Right.
You know.
And that's okay.
Exactly. We can't be like Jeff who's watching, who is a Red Wings fan. Like, you know, not after making the playoffs for 25 years and then not making it. Like,
right.
You know, it happens to the best of us, Jeff.
I think it's really cool to see on social media, too. A lot of people talk like a lot of smack, but a lot of people are like, you know, like, hey, I'm a Hawks fan. And it sucks that you swept us, but, like, good job to you guys because they're doing great.
You're actually hearing nice things from Hawks fans?
Yeah, like 2.
I was about to say, let's not get too...
And that's what everyone said, too. Everyone commented back on Sky, and they're like, you're from Chicago and you're actually complimenting someone else?
Chicago and Boston. We could make a whole segment because we talked about how racist Boston was last week, and that fired some people up. I feel like if you had to go for your top, like, 5 cities that people just hate. Like, you just get a negative stereotype the second you say, oh, I'm from this city. I feel like Chicago, Boston. Is Buffalo in that conversation? Is New York? Is L.A.? I'm trying to think who else. Philadelphia? I'm trying to think of other, like...
I think I've heard Phillies.
I've heard Phillies fans are pretty awful from what I've heard. I'm trying to think where else. People that are tuning in, what would be some of the cities that you would rate would be bad stereotypes as a whole, regardless of if you know people or not that are actually nice from it. But I think Chicago has to be one. I think Boston has to be one for sure. Florida, we don't really have any bad places to my knowledge. You're not going to get mad about somebody from Jacksonville or from Naples or Tampa or Miami. Texas, Dallas, maybe? I think you associate some bad folk from Dallas based off of Cowboy fans, I guess, as a whole. I'm trying to think if there would be California. I mean,
Probably not.
yeah, I think you kind of laugh at people from California, but you're not like, oh, you're from Anaheim. Like, ew.
Right.
Like, you're not getting mad about people from them. Seattle, Portland, I don't know if any of those really irk you or fire you up at all. Minnesota, not really. Kansas City, Cleveland, they have a bad rep.
Yeah, just
Mostly because they're annoying, and they will never let it go. Now that the fact that they've won a championship recently, be like, we are so good, and we have LeBron. Easy does it.
We get it.
Right. I think that would probably be a couple of my only ones, honestly. But Boston and Chicago for sure.
Yeah.
Top my list for probably most annoying sports fans, to say the least. So, all right, Jaymee, well, we are going to duck out of here. But before we go, do you have any closing thoughts or comments you want to toss out at us before we jet out for the day?
I don't think so. I think I'm just going to go get some throat
coat. I know. Think about a little warm coat for your throat.
Yeah. So I'm going to go get right now.
I'm going to get like a Snapchat from Jaymee later. It's going to be like a little mini coat like around her throat. Be like, I found a throat coat. Be like, no, Jaymee, that's not what I meant.
Wrong, you
like, my
idiot.
coat is nice. My throat is nice and warm now. Be like, no, Jamie's smarter than that. We promise. She can't always girl, but she can. She can do life most of the day. But all right, well, a quick reminder, of course, Brew Sports actually has a shortened week. We're going to be off Thursday, Friday. Jaymee, Tanner, and I are all going to be gone on different vacations, just relaxing and rejuvenating. So make sure to check back, of course, tomorrow and Wednesday, but then to be back again on Monday. I'll check in on the Brew Sports Facebook page with some lives for my vacation down in Florida. So just to say hey and make sure that you all know what's going on. But just a reminder for that as well, of course, to also find us on Facebook here, also on Twitter and Instagram at BrewSportsNet. Subscribe to us on YouTube as well, and also find us on iTunes. Just look for your favorite Brew Sports show, whether it be Morning Brew, Halftime, Double Dribble, Pick Six, Two Up Front, any of those. They're all under Brew Sports on iTunes, so go check them out today. She's Jaymee Evers. I'm Baxter Colburn. Thanks so much for hanging out with us this morning. We will see you guys next time on the Morning Brew tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Thanks for watching.
3, 2, 1.